What is the best e-bike tire? Part 2. Okay, so I have a Schwalbe with Marathon E Plus on the front, on the back. That's supposedly, according to rolling resistance, the most punch resistant tire of all you can buy. Mine's done 8,269 kilometers before its first puncture, but then it did less than 200. I got a puncture yesterday, and in the rain, and both punches about 100 with 200 kilometers apart happened in the wet. I remember years ago. Here's the blue. That's the Indian rubber. So these tires have marathon. A lot of the marathon tires, except for the Supremes, well, all of them except the Supremes, have all the marathon races have a layer of Indian rubber, which is made of latex, recycled latex, which can stretch much easier than butyl synthetic rubber. And it's coloured. This one's coloured blue. Some of them are coloured green. And the reason why you tend to get punches in the rain is the best explanation I ever heard was this guy who owned a bike shop. He said he was talking to a rubber fabricator, and the rubber fabricator had a bunch of knives in a pot of water. And he said, "Why have you got knives in the pot of water?" And he said, "Have you ever tried to cut rubber with a dry knife?" And that's pretty much what happens. Water acts as a lubricant for anything that is going to cut through your rubber. Rubber in itself is a pretty good barrier against glass in the dry. So yesterday it was pouring down with rain in the last time. So that's done. That was his first puncture after 8,269 kilometers. Now this looks the same. You know, if you go and buy one on eBay, which is, this one looks the same, but okay, this one looks the same. The Schwalbe Energizer Plus, both are rated to 50 kilometers now. Both are rated 50 kilometers now. This one has the latex rubber, so the point of that is so that the tire can be way thicker and yet still have reasonable rolling resistance, because the latex rubber will bend, and it's can stretch up to 7 times more than butyl before tearing. So latex rubber is better in that regard. So it enables it to be thicker, so it gives a greater thickness for the glass or whatever to go through. Theoretically, on the original Marathon Plus, or the original Marathon, you could run over a tack. That was the logic behind it. But the Indian rubber on this is only 3 millimeters. So that's done for your whack. I had one that did 12,000 kilometers. So I think this is a good combo. But this one, when I first put it on, it was absolute hell to get on. It was almost impossible. It took me like 45 minutes. And recently when I had the wheel repaired, this is a new wheel, the mechanic, the guy who owned a bike shop, who does this every day, he struggled to get it on. But then from then on in, it's been pretty easy to get on, like quite reasonable. So it does soften over time. But as the first time you get by it, it'll be the hardest tire you ever. And also what happens is that when it wedges into the bead on the rim, it'll stick there. You really struggle to get it, even if you've got one off, if you want to get the entire tire off. So the thing is that my previous bike, this is my second bike, my previous bike got stolen. My previous bike, I put Marathon Supremes on, and those tires I think the back one did 2,000 kilometers, got a puncture. Then I got a puncture at 6,000 kilometers, and then I swapped them over to the front, and there were neither one got a puncture until the bike got stolen at 13,700. The bike had done 13,700, but the tires had done 13,200 kilometers. So Marathon Supremes are pretty damn good tires. They're light too. But this, you know, these tyres, this is a good combo. I'd probably put, if I had to choose, I'd probably put both of these, front and rear. But if you get a puncture early on, oh my God, you're like, you're gonna be having a problem. So yeah, I did a video on what's the best e-bike tire. So this is an update. They do actually puncture, and hopefully going to keep going. Hopefully it doesn't start getting punctures every couple 100 kilometers, because that's going to be a bit of a pain. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Maybe what's the difference between this one? If you haven't seen the previous video, the difference between this one is it has the barrier. It has 5mm of Indian rubber inside it, whereas that one has 3mm. The Marathon E Plus. Now, it also has a barrier, like a probably high density nylon there, a conventional barrier, which stops the glass coming through. So, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. But if you want slightly, pretty much two matching tires, one slightly better rolling resistance on the front, slightly lighter. But if you can get hold of a Marathon Supreme, I would highly recommend you try that, because that Marathon Supreme straight off the bat is more reasonable to get on and off. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend as one of the best combos or options for e-bike tires. I'll end it at that.